Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Skylar Rages Pablo Shocker, and I'm the Secretary of the Chamorro Tribe. On behalf of the tribe, I'd like to welcome and thank you all for coming this evening and taking the time to join us. Our first speaker is the Vice Chairman of the Chamorro Tribe, and he'll be giving you a brief history on how we started down this path. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice Chairman, Gregory Rabone Shocker.
You know, about 7 years ago, we started pretty much looking into the opportunities under Native American opportunities. And my brother Frank and I, of course, we weren't too happy with the statutory citizen status that we have. And we wanted to find out a little bit more about what was available for us in regards to that. And the fact that we're all veterans in our family, and we don't have those full constitutional amendment rights really bothered us. And we fought with fellow soldiers next to us. And being statutory citizen, we only have the basic human rights that apply to us. Without further ado, I'd like to invite my brother up here, Frank J. Shocker, the chairman, and he can just get right into the educational program. Thank you.
Let me see if I can raise the volume a little bit without adding some squelch. Is that good back there? Once again, good evening everyone, and welcome to our tribal education session. As Greg stated, 7 years ago, we were discussing the different options available to us under the plebiscite, and we were not completely satisfied with any of our options, because none of the options available to us would allow us constitutional citizenship as well as protect our native rights. So we started to research the rights of the Native American Indians, and in doing so we came across Title 25 of the U.S. Code, which is the Indian Act. And upon reading the Indian Act, we discovered that under Chapter 43, the housing section, which is next to the last chapter of Title 25, the definition of state had been amended to include Guam and all other territories held in trust by the United States that are non-self-governing. That piqued our curiosity, so we continued researching. We continued researching, trying to find not only if we were eligible for this, but also what other federal laws and international laws affected us. Now, last week, as you all know, an article came out in the PDN stating that we were seeking Native American status. There's some interesting blogs that have occurred on the PDN website. Some people making a jest of our quest. But one of the things that caught my interest was an individual who stated education. What education? You people better make sure that you're giving the right information. And even though he was being sarcastic in his comments, I took that part seriously. I don't want to impart any wrong information to anybody. So tonight I'm going to do something a little bit different. Usually I stand up here and I just talk about the different international laws and the federal laws that affect us out here. Tonight I'm going to do a little reading to you from some of our research. And I will quote to you the laws, and I will read to you what those laws say that pertain to us. Okay? Let's start at the beginning. There's been a lot of misconception about what rights were guaranteed to us under the Treaty of 1898. So let's go ahead and clear that up right now. Article 9 of the Treaty of 1898. This is the last sentence. the civil rights and political status of the native inhabitants of the territories hereby ceded to the United States shall be determined by the Congress. Other than our right to conduct free enterprise, free business, and our right to a freedom of religion, okay, this is the only determining factor under the Treaty of 1898, more commonly known as the Treaty of Paris. We weren't too happy with that discovery, but we continued on with our research, and we researched the Charter of the United Nations, because so much had been referenced to the recognition of the United Nations of indigenous rights. And we found some interesting things. You have to remember that the United States of America is a signatory to the Charter of the United Nations. And the Charter of the United Nations is considered a treaty. And therefore, according to the Supremacy Clause of the United States, which is contained within the Constitution of the United States, since it is a treaty that was ratified by the Senate, it is law in the United States as well. Chapter 12. Article 76 of the Charter of the United Nations. Subsection B. Well, let me start with the preface for Article 76. The basic objectives of the trusteeship system in accordance with the purposes of the United Nations laid down in Article 1 of the present Charter shall be, this is Chapter B, Article 76, to promote the political, economic, social, and educational advancement of the inhabitants of the trust territories and their progressive development towards self-government or independence as may be appropriate to the particular circumstances of each territory and its peoples and the freely expressed wishes of the peoples concerned. That's a very important part. The freely expressed wishes of the people concerned. And as may be provided by the terms of each trusteeship agreement. Now, Guam is a unique situation because under the United Nations, the trusteeship agreement between the United States and the United Nations, Guam is an area which under Article 77, Article 82, there may be designated in any trusteeship agreement a strategic area or areas which may include part of or all of the trust territory to which the agreement applies, without prejudice to any special agreement or agreements made under Article 43. Guam is a strategic area in accordance with the trusteeship agreement between the United Nations and the United States. Now, if we go down to Article 83, Section 2 of Article 83, the basic objectives set forth in Article 76 shall be applicable to the people of each strategic area. So although we are under a strategic area trusteeship agreement, Section B of Article 76 that I read to you earlier regarding the right to self-determination still applies under this charter.